Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. FPL Consult here, and today we're going to take a look at our Gameweek 38 highest predicted points team. So this is essentially the best starting 11 that you can have for Gameweek 38 based on predicted points. Now of course, as always, we're going to use the predicted points model from DraftHound. They have been pretty accurate in predicting the expected points of these players that you guys see on the screen for today's video. So if you guys are interested, they are also the sponsor of today's video. I'll leave a link in the description and also a pinned comment so you can check out DraftHound if you are interested. Now, let's get on with the video, and we're going to go with Pickford in goal here. Now, Pickford plays Bournemouth at home, and as I mentioned in yesterday's video as well, Pickford is one of those keepers that still has something to play for in Gameweek 38. Everton are, of course, fighting the relegation battle. So, at Goodison Park against Bournemouth, you fully expect them to put their all, especially in defense, right, where they have been quite solid of late, right? So, Bournemouth at home, 3.8 predicted points for Pickford is actually one of the highest, or rather the highest for keepers this whole game week. After Pickford is Alisson at 3.7. So Pickford, of course, makes the starting 11 here. Let's take a look at the defense now. There's Trippier, Trent, and Yerry Mina. So talking about Mina first, since we just mentioned Everton, he also plays Bournemouth at home, and 5.0 predicted points for him I think is fair, right? If they do keep a clean sheet, he could of course outscore that prediction, but this model also accounts for the fact that his attacking threat from set pieces has been pretty good. So I do expect Yerry Mina to profit from some set pieces as well. Bournemouth, of course, throughout the whole season have been conceding loads of chances and goals from set pieces as well. So if Yerry Mina is to profit from there, 5.0 predicted points is actually something that I think he could well outscore. Right, now moving on to Trent. Trent is also in a difficult position, right, as for Trippier as well, because in Game Week 38 there are a couple of teams that don't have much to play for, and Liverpool and Newcastle are one of these teams, right? So we could see Trent rested, but based on the model's prediction, if Trent starts, 6.2 predicted points for Trent is not even a stretch at all, right? Because in his new position, which is a inverted fullback role, he has been very, very attacking, putting in loads of assists for a lot of the players that we see in the forward line as well. So 6.2 predicted points for him I think is fairly accurate, and on top of that, don't forget the clean sheet points that he could get against a Southampton team that of course are relegated already. Now, last to mention, Trippier as well, Chelsea away. Now, Newcastle have already qualified for the Champions League, so once again, he is kind of in danger if we do see some rotation from Newcastle, right? But 5.2 predicted points is given to Trippier if he starts the game. Now, of course, Chelsea have been so poor attackingly and also defensively, where we could see them concede a couple of goals. I am recording this after the Manchester United versus Chelsea game, and they have just conceded 4 goals against Manchester United. So I do expect Newcastle to score a couple of goals against Chelsea, and of course Trippier is on a lot of set pieces as well. So if they get a goal from set pieces, then Trippier is probably the one who will be getting the assist. Of course, in Game Week 37 as well, he did get a couple of assists in the double game week as well. So those of you who captained him ahead of Isak or Wilson, right, that played on pretty well as well. Now let's take a look at the midfield. So in midfield, we have a really strong midfield this week, and it's Salah, Rashford, Eze, Odegaard, and Saka, right? So I'm well aware that some of these players play for teams that don't really have much to play for in Game Week 38, so we'll cover them one by one. Let's talk about Salah first. So Salah plays Southampton away. He has 8.2 predicted points, and that is actually the highest predicted points out of all the players in FPL for this game week. So that's why the captain's armband is on him. Spoiler alert, Haaland is also in this team, but Salah actually is predicted to do better than Haaland this week, and that's why the captain's armband is on Salah. He plays Southampton, who have already been relegated, and of course Liverpool, even though they can't qualify for the Champions League anymore, you would still think that Salah would start and try to put on a performance against Southampton, right? So he is given the captain's armband for this week, right? And moving on, Marcus Rashford plays Fulham at home. So 7.0 predicted points for Rashford is actually something you would think he'd be able to match if he starts. Now he didn't start against Chelsea last night, but he did come on for an injured Anthony who came off the field on stretchers, right? So basically, it does look like Anthony would not be able to play in Game Week 38, and thereafter, it also frees up a slot for Marcus Rashford there. He is, of course, the first choice centre forward for Manchester United, and also on the left as well if they need him there. But Marcus Rashford is back to full fitness now. The illness that ruled him out did not keep him out of the Chelsea game, and you would think that physically he's also fit, right? So there's nothing to say that he won't start the Fulham game at Old Trafford. Of course, if Ten Hag decides that he wants to rotate the full squad, give the other fringe players some playing time, and we do get some leagues that Rashford doesn't start, then of course don't start him. But if he does, the model gives him 7.0 predicted points. Now, Eberechi Eze is next on the list, Nottingham Forest at home, and he has 6.0 predicted points. Now, Eze has just been an incredible FPL asset for those of you who managed to hop on around Gameweek 34, because since then he's just been a machine and he's been picking up so many double-digit hauls, right? A brace against Southampton, brace against Bournemouth. He's also on penalties as well. So 6.0 predicted points against Nottingham Forest, who have already avoided relegation, you would think is not even that far of a stretch for Eze. Now, talking about the two Arsenal players here, Odegaard and Saka, 6.4 predicted points for Odegaard, 6.3 for Saka, and both of them play Wolves at home. Now, Arsenal, of course, have nothing to play for simply because they've qualified for the Champions League, and also they can't win the league anymore. The champions are Manchester City. But that said, they are playing their final game in Gameweek 38 at the Emirates against Wolves. Now, on top of Wolves being very poor away from home, you would think that even though Arsenal are on very low morale at this point in time, they would want to end the season on a high, and what better way to do that at home, to put on a show for their fans and win the game against Wolves, right? So if that happens, and if they do score quite a couple of goals, you would think that Odegaard and Saka would definitely be involved in those goals, right? So that's it for this midfield. Let me know what you guys think of this midfield, and we'll take a look now at the forwards. Now up front, it is very fitting that the model has Haaland and Harry Kane in this starting 11. 6.9 predicted points for Haaland and 6.6 predicted points for Kane. Both of them have been super consistent, and probably you would say the most consistent players in FPL this whole season. Now Haaland plays Brentford away, and his 6.9 predicted points of course hinges on the fact that he starts. Now Brentford away is a game you would expect Haaland to play simply because Pep has alluded to the fact that he will have to start playing his starting 11 together, at least the 11 that he wants to take into the field for the Manchester United FA Cup finals and also the Inter Milan Champions League finals. Right, so basically there aren't a lot of games left for Pep to get their starting 11 to gel together again. So simply, I do expect Haaland to play, and of course, if he does, he is probably one of those assets you back every week to score. So 6.9 predicted points for him. Not enough to match Salah though, who is at 8.2. So that's why the vice captain is on Haaland instead. Now, Harry Kane plays Leeds away. Now, Tottenham are in a position where they do need to win this game against Leeds if they do want to have a shot at the European places, right? Simply, I think Harry Kane has been an asset that everyone can agree. He has been super consistent. Even though Spurs don't win, right, Harry Kane still manages to score maybe one goal or get an assist as well, right? So Harry Kane in isolation is just a great asset to have, and especially in a game that Tottenham will want to win. 6.6 predicted points for Kane is actually something you would fully expect him to score. Now, it is important to note as well that Leeds are fighting the relegation battle, so they will go all out and they would try to take that game away from Spurs. But what I see this game panning out to be is a very high scoring game from both sides, because both of them would be going all out, right? And of course, defensively, neither of them are great as well. So it remains to be seen how that game will go, but 6.6 for Kane I think is fully within expectations. And there we go. This is the best 11 team for Gameweek 38. Let me know what you guys are thinking with these players, right? Do you think that there should be other players in this starting 11, and how many players you have from this 11 as well? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the final video of this season, which is the Gameweek 38 team selection, which will be out tomorrow.